God is everything. God is all in all. God is so divine, everlasting light, the sun that shines, the stars at night, and so much more, so much more, so much more. Every breath, every breath, every move, every move, every tree, every bird, every sound and every word, the moon in the sky and the mountains up high, and you and I, you and I, you and I. I give God thanks for all my days. I'm glad for this time. I give God praise. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah. I give God praise. 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 God is everything. God is all in all. God is so divine, yeah. Everlasting light, the sun that shines, the stars at night, and so much more, so much more, so much more.
Just when I take a step outside, the rain, it catches me with no warning. Right before liftoff, what was once light and airy can't catch my breath. Poor sweet canary, for the weight on my body. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me. take a step outside. All around I see the empty spaces.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unity of Bellevue. We are so grateful you have joined us both on site and online on this happy Sunday. Unity is a spiritual center that is helping to awaken people to their spiritual nature in order to transform our world. My name is Dixie Brightbill, and today we have some amazing people here for you. Jennifer Holt is our meditation facilitator. Cindy Brightbill is leading our invocation. Jean Poltamir is going to be our board host, and we have Reverend Patric Creelman as our guest speaker and Rona Yellow Robe as our guest artist with Bruce Williams. Jamie Sasse is our song leader and is going to start us off with a community song. Let's give her some love as she leads us in Higher Place.
Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. No more forward, no more backward, no more spinning around and around. My life is moving ever upwards. My feet are leaving the ground. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. No more downward, no more darkness, no more wondering the point of it all. My life is destined, oh, for greatness. My soul has answered the call. Up to a higher place. Up, far beyond this time and space. Up to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Higher place, higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. I feel my soul rising to a higher place. Woo.
Good morning, everyone. I just invite you to sit comfortably, and if you choose so, close your eyes as we invoke divine love. knowing that we are rising higher together. We celebrate the beauty of each soul that is here, and we call forth the light that is within, radiating it to everyone here and online and to the world. We breathe in with a sacred breath, breathing in peace, breathing in calm. We breathe in again. We declare this sanctuary, this community, this celebration service is sacred. Everything is unfolding for the highest and best good of all. We are so grateful, and so it is.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica McDowell-Elvig. I'm your Center Administrator. I'm also stepping in for some operational duties while we're in this transition time, and I'm so grateful to be with you and to see, gosh, we've got a great group this morning, so I'm glad that you're here. Today is our 5th Sunday in our Metaphysical Lent, the Spiraling Path series, and this morning we're sharing Susan Murray's submission. This is a gratitude spiral, and I want to just read what she said about her process around this. She said, "Each piece of paper has something written on it that I am grateful for. Starting the day focusing on something we are grateful for often spirals into more positive thoughts. When I catch myself dwelling on negative things in a downward spiral, it is a way of making a choice to shift my focus to things I can do something about and things I appreciate. The inspiration came from readings in Unity classes." And out on the Team Unity table, I've printed out a picture with the quotes on gratitude from Brene Brown and from Mark Nepo from her readings at Unity last year that inspired this gratitude spiral. So thank you so much, Susan. It's a great practice, a great idea. And all of the submissions are out on the table, including Mandy's reflection. That was the forerunner for all of the submissions. She was very brave and courageous to submit hers first for everyone to read. And thank you, Mandy, for organizing it as well. So thank you to Susan and to Mandy for our submissions this morning. Yes. Next Sunday is our last Sunday, and we'll have about 3 submissions next Sunday. Reverend Patric, our speaker this morning, he comes to us from CSL Seattle, where he is a staff minister as well as operations director for the organization. He has been a New Thought and Ancient Wisdom student for more than 25 years. He received his ordination as an interfaith minister and interspiritual counselor at the One Spirit Interfaith Seminary, and he became a religious science practitioner while living in New York City. Prior to becoming a minister, he toured North America and the world as a performer in a wide variety of film, television, and theatrical productions. He has had parallel careers in production, design, and as a visual artist for a variety of event companies, designers, and artists. He considers himself a perpetual student of and participant in all things, ideas, and philosophies that are creative and life-affirming. We are so grateful for your presence with us again, and we know that the wisdom and teaching that comes from the bright light that you are will be a blessing to us all. So thank you for being with us.
So yes, I'm Reverend Patrick. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here as well. I'm going to start today. I almost read a tree poem, but I'm going to start with this one instead. From David White, a local, brilliant poet. In that first, hardly noticed moment in which you awake, coming back to this life from the other, more secret, movable, and frighteningly honest world where everything began, there is a small opening to this new day, which closes the moment you begin to make plans. What you can plan is too small for you to live. What you can live wholeheartedly will make plans enough in the vitality hidden within your sleep. To be human is to become visible while carrying what is hidden as gifts to each other. To remember the other world in this world is to live your true inheritance. You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You are invited from another and greater night than from the one that you have just emerged. Now, looking through the slanting light of the morning window toward the mountain presence and everything that can be, what urgency calls you to your one love? What shape awaits in the seed of you to grow and to spread its branches up against the sky? Is it waiting in a fertile sea? Or in the sea, in the trees beyond the house? In the life that you can imagine for yourself? Is it waiting in the open and lovely white pages on your writing desk? To be human is to become visible while carrying what is hidden to others. Now, what I want you to remember is a couple things. You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You are here on purpose and for a purpose. And don't let anyone ever tell you differently. What they're telling you is their perception. And that's their baggage. That's their stuff. You are not an accident. We are not an accident. I am not an accident. Nothing about our lives is an accident. And what you can plan is too small for you to live. And what you can live wholeheartedly will make its plan through your living. There is a greater plan for your life than you can plan for yourself. I think Oprah said it, that God has a bigger dream for her than she ever had for her own life. That's true for us too. The universe, the creative force, source, love, life, God has a greater dream for your life than you could ever imagine for yourself. How many of us have said, we made a plan and I'm going to go do this, and then somewhere along the way, this other opportunity comes up, and we move along that path, we make that choice, and that leads us to something we never imagined possible for ourselves. I see a few heads nodding, so I know I'm speaking some sort of truth to someone. And here's the thing. If it's not true for you, then it's not the truth. If it's not a personal, embodied experience, then it is just someone else's story about what you're going through. If you don't know it fully for yourself, then it's not your truth. It's facts, it's figures, it's interesting, it's all of that, but it's not necessarily in your DNA and your truth. That butterfly couldn't be any other kind of butterfly than what it was, and that DNA existed in the caterpillar. It wasn't going to be a monarch if it wasn't a monarch. It was going to be another kind of butterfly. And no two monarchs are the same, monarch butterflies. They're all different, even though they may look the same, but they all have their own DNA. And to be human, and this is the one, it gets me. To be human is to become visible while carrying what is invisible as gifts out to the world. I think our main job in our lives, our main task, is to come into the world and figure out for ourselves what is ours to offer, and then offer it. There's not much point in knowing what you have to offer and keeping that gift to yourself and not giving it away. Our goal we spoke, I'm just changing direction a little bit. We spoke in the affirmation about beloved community. And we spoke about offering. All of that is our innate urge to connect, to be in relationship, to be in community. And Brene Brown, she has this new special, I think it is, on HBO or something, but I saw some clips. She says this: our connection to each other is only as solid and as deep as our connection to ourselves. In order for me to be connected to you, I have to know who I am. And part of what allows us to know who we are is figuring out what we have to offer, getting right with our gifts, getting right with what our special, unique offering is to the world. And we all have it. We don't all have to be a star. We don't all have to own giant companies that make hundreds of millions of dollars. Most of us, the bulk of us, are just living our lives day to day, interacting, being human, playing music, moving chairs, doing all the things that we do. We're not all going to save lives in the way a doctor would. And none of our jobs diminishes our purpose in the world. And we find our fulfillment and our connection in the offering. As I said, there's not much point in knowing what you have to offer and then not giving it away. That doesn't do us much good. That usually ends us up in a place of resenting people who don't know what our gifts are. Well, how are they supposed to know what we have to offer if we don't show up and say, this is what I have to offer, this is who I am? How are they supposed to know the music of our soul if we don't stand up and sing? How are they supposed to know that I can plant flowers and take care of flowers if I don't actually do that and share that with the world? How are they supposed to know our gifts if we don't stand squarely, fully, reaching to the sky with what is invisible and then offering it out to the world? We cannot blame other people for not recognizing what we're not willing to show. We can blame them, and most of us do. And if we haven't, we will, and we probably will in the future, or we are now. That's called being human, and that's okay. When we recognize we're doing that, stop it. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, literally. I'm reminded of a quote by William Arthur Ward. It's one of my favorite quotes on gratitude. And I'm glad gratitude is a part of the affirmation and theme for the day, and that wonderful spiral. Taking time to recognize what you're grateful for, and then taking time to write it, taking time to craft it into a link, taking time to craft that link to another link, to another link, to another link, to another link in a spiral, so you keep coming back to gratitude, to gratitude, to gratitude. But you're different every time. It's a spiral. It's not a complete circle. A complete circle stops. A spiral goes like this, so you come back to the same place again and again, but slightly differently. You are different because you said thank you, literally. And you're different because you've experienced gratitude, literally. And the more you're experiencing that, the more you are connected to the world, and the more you are connected to Source and to your true purpose. This quote from William Arthur Ward: feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. That's the same with your gifts and what you have to offer. If you don't give it, it's a nice little package, but no one gets to see it. Our world, I'm not going to get political, but our world is in a bit of a storm right now, and has been for a number of years now. We've all been through the trauma of COVID, of all of the pandemic. We've been through what our own personal traumas have been triggered. We're seeing what's happened in another part of the world. We see what's happening to our own people in our own country. And if our world is to survive, and if our world is to survive in a way that works for everybody, not just the 1%, not just for the white folks, not just for the people who have all the money, not just for the CEOs, but for everybody, we as humans have to do a better job of being human, being better humans. And part of that is the desire to connect and to give away what we have. Generously and freely. Don't give it away and be stingy about it. Don't give it away and say, this is a quid pro quo, whatever that phrase is. That's a business transaction. That's not giving your gifts freely. And yes, we should be paid for our job and we should be paid for things, but part of our existence in the world is just to be free with our sharing. And now there's a professor, I love this story. He had a group of students, and he blew up balloons, and he had them all write their name on a balloon. And then he took all the balloons and put them in the hallway, mixed them all up, and asked the students, go out and find your name, your balloon with your name on it. So you have 5 minutes to do this. They went all did that, and they searched around and couldn't find the balloons, and they kicked the balloons and chased the balloons and all the things that happen, which is life. And after the 5 minutes, he stopped, and nobody had their balloon with their name on it because, you know, the chaos of all the balloons. Imagine doing that out in this room or out in the lobby there. And then he said, okay, now, wherever you are, pick up the balloon that you have, see the name on it, and go find the person who that balloon belongs to and give it to them. That is an opportunity to connect. That is an opportunity to recognize the human that you're giving the gift to. That is namaste. That is, I honor you. I'm giving you, I'm witnessing you. I'm witnessing you knowing what your name is. I'm witnessing you and your gifts. There's nothing greater than to stand as witness for another human. Well, there are things that are great, but that's one of the most powerful gifts we can offer another person, is just to stand and bear witness. Just to stand and not try to fix something, but listen. To stand with an open heart, open hands, and open arms and say, yes, I understand. We need to do that with the planet. We need to do that with animals. We need to do that with each other. We need to do that with the world. Yes, I understand. I'm bearing witness, and I'm calling truth to power, and I'm putting a name on what I'm standing in front of and offering what I can do to be a part of the solution. Now, our work is to figure out what is uniquely ours and what we have to offer, and to offer it freely. I heard a speaker say this once. We are all here to deliver the best results, the highest ideals of God as us. That's our work. Not our egoic, I'm Patrick, I'm small, I'm the youngest of 6, and, you know, I'm whatever the thing is, whatever our baggage is. I'm not small, I'm big. Superhero stance. But we all have a story about ourselves that keeps us small. We all have something. You're too fat, you're too old, you're too black, you're too white, you're too whatever it is, you're gay, you're not, whatever that thing is, we've all taken it on, and it wasn't ours to begin with. Someone imposed that on us. That was one of the lies that was taught to us when we were young. But we've taken it on and we've believed it to be true. As I was writing this talk yesterday, my niece in New Brunswick, Canada, I'm Canadian, I never say that, but it's good for a laugh. She held a Zoom memorial for my sister, who passed in, her mother, and my sister, who passed in October. And obviously we can't all be together. She's in New Brunswick. I have another sibling they're in the west coast of Canada. I'm down here. Other people are in England. So thank you for the creative genius who created Zoom and allowed us to connect in the way that we could connect. It's been literally, who knew it would be such a gift? But what I want to share and what I was struck with, I'm from a family of 8. My mother, my dad, my sister was the eldest, and then 5 boys. Oy. Pity my sister. She took care of us. She was essentially our second mother for all the boys. My mother died a few years ago, and what I was struck with yesterday, and I couldn't even bring it up at this group gathering, was that both these women died not knowing how brilliant they were, or not accepting how brilliant they were. They both raised kids, they both worked hard, they were both dedicated to their spouse, they were dedicated to their family, they offered everything they could, but they could never own the gift that they had to offer. They could never fully receive the love back. They could never fully accept their place in the world and stand there and say, yes, I'm okay with this, I'm grateful for this. I can receive your honoring of me. That is one of the great sadnesses of my life, that no matter what we did, they couldn't accept it. Not because they weren't gracious and all of that, but it wasn't in their consciousness. They hadn't done whatever work, or they weren't capable, or whatever belief system they had wouldn't allow them to step beyond, I'm not worthy, and I'm an accident in this world, and what I have to offer isn't worth the praise. They are amazing women, strong, powerful business women, all of the things that you want them, nurturing. My mom was a piano player, baker, crafter, all the things. But she couldn't quite accept, even on her deathbed, all the words of praise, all the words of gratitude, all the words, and that in itself is wrapping a gift and not giving it, or that's knowing something and not being able to receive it. That's the reverse of it. Imagine, had their lives been different if for 75 years or 64 years they stood and they said, yes, I have something to offer and I'm willing to offer it and this is awesome, and life, like imagine the difference that their life they could have had in their life. Imagine the difference the different experience they could have had at their end of life. We did everything we could to make it loving and graceful for them. But in that intimate moment, my mom, she went to God, which was good. She hadn't prayed in 50 years or something. But there's a release that only happens when we fully accept who we are and really what we have to offer. Not the false modesty of, oh, I'm just shy, I can't really accept. But no. Even if we can be modest and know fully who we are and know what our gifts are. We don't have to be arrogant. We can be modest and offer fully, confidently what we have to offer. This message is so clear to me. I've of all the classes and all the journeys and all the people and all the things that I've done, there's one message that keeps coming back over and over and over again. It's not my Beatitudes, but it's sort of my Be-attitudes. There's this teaching, what I have been seeking, I'm actually here to deliver. You're here to deliver the very thing that you're looking for someone else to give you. You're here to bring it, and bring it boldly, and serve it up, and offer it to the world, not expect the other person to give it to you. Your boss is not going to give it to you. Your daddy's not going to give it to you. Your mama's not going to give it to you. Nobody is going to give you what you need if you're not willing to receive it. And if you're not willing to own it and offer it up. If you want more love in the life, then be more love in your life. If you want more compassion and connection and grace in your life, then be more compassion. Find ways in your day-to-day life to be more compassionate, more graceful, and more connected in your life. Not when everything's perfect and when you've got everything figured out and you're the perfect weight and all those things. That's not going to happen necessarily in the same time that you need to step up and be more love. We need more of that connection all along. We need more of that love all along. And we do it where we are, with what we have, and however we can offer it, with whomever we're standing in front of. There is no perfect time to get it all right. If you're seeking something that you're missing in your life, then you're actually being called to bring it, to slow down, to get still, to get aligned, and allow whatever you're seeking to have its proper place in your being, the DNA of your being, the DNA, the spiritual DNA, the energetic DNA, and allow that to bubble up, to rise up through your being, and then have it expressed fully out into the world, and don't apologize for it. Don't apologize for being bold. Don't apologize for being extra loving or wearing a flowered dress that you wanted to sing a song about earlier. That's fun. That allows us to connect. That allows us to see each other. Those little moments, we think it's nothing, but allows us to see each other as human We all walk away from our houses in the morning and we put on our cute clothes and get in our fancy car or not fancy car or whatever it is, and we create a story, and this is our armor, and we walk out into the world, and everyone has to react to us and interact with us with that as our persona. That is a persona. And that's fine. That's our survival suit. That's what we've learned to make it in the world, and there are certain situations that we need that, but there are more important times when we have to drop all that and get right with God. Get right with grace. Get right with ourselves. One of the things, when I went through a divorce and all the things I did, and I was entering into seminary, and I went from a 1,200 square foot apartment where I threw dinners and did all the things into literally this New York apartment where I could touch, classic out of the movies, I could touch the walls. I had a bed, a futon, and what I decided, I sold everything I could, I gave away other things, and I put my favorite things into storage, and in this little apartment for the next 4 years, I had one spoon, one fork, one plate. I had one of everything, and my mantra was only what I need when I need it. That's a powerful place to say. I'm not saying everyone can do that, but I chose to do that for myself because I needed to let go of the persona that I had been, the successful son, the golden son, the husband, the dancer, the singer, all those things. I put it aside so I could stand here and be okay with being present fully without all the shtick. So my invitation to you is to take time to know what it is you want to offer, to know it is who you are. Take time. That's what these communities are for. That's what beloved communities are for. That's what classes are for. That's what meditation is for. Take time. Know who you are. Find out who you are. Find out what you have to offer. And it may change next week. It may change after that. That's okay. I know some of you say, I don't have time to do that. I'm busy. Well, we're all busy. You make time. And if you're too busy to pray, then you're busier than God intended for you to be. If you're too busy to meditate or take 5 minutes to slow down, then you're busier than you're supposed to be. If you're too busy to take a moment and commune with yourself and your authentic self and love and the person across from you, instead of your to-do list or Instagram or Facebook or all those other things, then you're too busy. Slow down. If you have time for Facebook, you have time to slow down. If you have time to watch 8 hours of Bridgerton, because it just came out 2 weeks ago, then you have time. Then you have time to write a list of what is important to you. You don't need to watch 8 hours of soap opera. It's fun. It was really good. But I'm single and I don't have anything to do, so that's like I'll do something. If you have time to Instagram, take a photo of your food, take an Instagram, and then share that with the world, write a post, you have time to pause. You have time to reflect. You have time to get right. You have time. You have time. And you have time to get right, to pause, to learn, to discern, to understand what it is you have to offer. And take into your being take into your, what am I trying to say? Reflection time, the things that you're questing for, see where you can bring those to the world. And know that you are here on purpose. Know that you are here, and you are here to be heard. You are here to be visible. You are here to stand your ground in the real way. To occupy space, to reclaim your time, all those things. You are here to do that because no one else is going to do it for you. So take a breath into your body. Close your eyes. I'm going to offer, as I close, take a breath in and exhale. I'm going to offer this song prayer. this in and let the words vibrate through you. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. Take my hands, Lord, and my feet. Touch my heart, Lord. Speak through me. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. Take some time this week and allow some insight into how the universe, how love, how the Lord, whatever word you want to use for that, how God, how nature, great source, could use you more authentically and express itself through you and as you in this moment, as you are right now. Reflect on that. Write it down. Bring it to consciousness all the time, and then open your eyes and act on it. Bring yourself back to the room. I'm grateful for this time together. I'm grateful for our music. I'm grateful for this community. And thank you for allowing me to share some thoughts with you today. Namaste.
So, Reverend Patrick, I changed my mind 3 times about this song. And with the help of my sound people and that reverb on that flute. And thank you so much for having us here. This song is called Living Proof, and you've probably seen it on the movie The Help. And, I think that, in the past couple of years, we've been through some stuff together. Not just, it hasn't been an individual trial. This is like a worldwide experience we had together. And yet here we are again. And so this song is called The Living Proof. And yeah. It's gonna be a long, long journey. It's gonna be an uphill climb. It's gonna be a tough fight. There's gonna be some lonely nights. But I'm ready to carry on. I'm so glad the worst is over. I can start living now. Ooh, I feel like I can do anything. And finally, I'm not afraid to breathe. Anything you say to me and everything you do, you can't deny the truth. 'cause I'm the living proof. So many don't survive, they just don't make it through. But look at me, oh, I'm the living proof. Oh, yes I am. Now thinking back, life's been painful, yes it was. It took a while to learn how to smile. So now I'm gonna talk to my people about the storm, oh, about the storm. Whoa, I'm so glad the worst is over. I can start flying now. Whoa, my best days are right in front of me, and I'm almost there. 'Cause now I'm free. Oh, anything you say to me and everything you do, you can't deny the truth. 'Cause I'm the living proof. So many don't survive, they just don't make it through. But look at me, oh, I'm the living proof. I know where I'm going, hey, 'cause I know where I've been. Whoa, I've got a few scars that's showing. I'm gonna keep strong, keep growing. That's the way that I win. Anything you say to me and everything you do, you can't deny the truth. 'Cause I'm the living proof. So many don't survive, they just don't make it through. But look at me, oh, I'm the living proof. Now nothing about my life's been easy, oh no. But nothing's gonna keep me down, no. 'Cause I know a lot more today than I knew yesterday now. And I'm ready to carry on. Oh, Lordy. Ooh. Thank you very much.
Hello, Unity of Bellevue. My name is Jean Palmatier, and I'm your board host for today. This is the part of the service where we welcome visitors, where we remind ourselves of how our beliefs relate to the business part of the center, and once in a while we give you a little bit of information about board business. So today I'd like to just say that we had board elections a couple of days ago, and just let everybody know at the same time, I am very humbled and honored to say that I've been elected as president, Shelley Lish as vice president, Dorothy Bostetter as treasury, and Sharon Wolf as board secretary, Paul Roof and Joy Christensen as members at large. Please take a moment today to connect with one of those people, and also stick around for our monthly Q&A after service. In one of the lines of the first song that they sang today, they said, "Shoot for the stars and know who you are." Well, your board is trying to do that same very thing. We are attending collectively board training put out by Unity Worldwide Ministries Northwest Region a little later this month. Some of you who are not on the board currently have expressed an interest in being on the board, and you will be offered this training as well towards the fall of this year. So same training, we'll do it again a little later. So with that, I'd like to move into welcoming our visitors. If you are new to us today, welcome. We really love to have you here, and whether it's online or in the sanctuary. In a few moments, you'll hear announcements. What we'd like you to do is just connect with us on anything that's happening at Unity of Bellevue. We have a welcome package for you in the sanctuary, and we don't expect you to contribute financially. If you are so inclined, feel free to do so. You can go onto our website, though, and select I'm New, and it will give you that same welcome package. If you are in the sanctuary, again, it's right outside the doors there. For those of you who call Unity of Bellevue your spiritual home, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to sincerely thank you for your pledge. If you are moved to recirculate a bit more of your wealth today, there is a basket located towards the back of the sanctuary that you can drop your additional love offerings into. And again, if you're online, you can just select the Give button on the website's menu bar. I'd like to welcome everyone to share your abundance today, because your financial gifts represent collective commitment to waking up, to greater consciousness of knowing we're taken care of both individually and collectively, and ultimately to creating a vibrant and thriving spiritual community at Unity of Bellevue. So with the highest consciousness of Unity of Bellevue's abundance and prosperity in mind, please join me in our offering blessing, which should be on your screen. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
And so we give thanks for these tithes and love offerings. We are blessed, and we are a blessing to each and all. We dedicate these gifts for the highest and best good for Unity of Bellevue and for our mission, invoking the law of circulation that as we give, so we receive. We open our hearts to these gifts, to one another. We are so grateful, and so it is. Good morning again. I have a few announcements for you. If you are visiting with us, we are so glad you are here. Please fill out a connection card. You can find one in your seat back or in your welcome packet. And if you receive it in the mail, you can fill it out via that. Prayer chaplains are always here to pray with you. If you have any prayer requests, you can fill out the prayer request card by the south entrance or online on our website on the prayer page. And you can also email them at prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org. The prayer circle after service will return next Sunday, because today is Q&A Sunday. So just stick around both here and online, and we'll have Q&A with the new board for any questions about our principles, practices, or policies. For youth and family, please check out the online Easter classroom. It's up on our webpage, on the youth and family page, and also on our Facebook. Wasn't it great to have Cindy and Dixie helping to lead service? Yay. We're creating a pool of volunteers to help do that, and we're going to have another training this Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So if you would like to do that, contact me or Sabrina. Sisters in Spirit meets this Monday at 6:30. We are going to be focusing on the topic of grief, and we have a special facilitator for that. If you are a woman or a woman identified, you are welcome, and the Zoom link is on our launch page. And men's group meets this Saturday at 8:30 online. If you have any questions, you can contact Vic or Jerry. And they also have a men's retreat coming up the first weekend in June, so connect with them for that. That's a great retreat that they take every year to Wenatchee. Our final healing engagement with Dr. Donaldson is this Saturday. This Saturday, it's come up quickly at 7 p.m. here and online Zoom. So we invite you for that. Everyone is welcome. Music will be provided by Matthew Wilson and Dr. Richard Held from our Unity in Linwood Sister Church. The flowers today, Linda has done a beautiful job, as always, with the flowers. They are in honor of 3 occasions. First, our beloved Connie Blake, our sweet sister, made her transition this past Friday, and so there are flowers here in memory and in honor of her. A celebration will be planned, and we'll keep you posted on that. Also, it is Shelley Lish's birthday, so happy birthday to Shelley. And also in honor of Kathy Lane's retirement. So congratulations to Kathy. We want to again thank Reverend Patrick for being here. Stand in your place and offer. It sounded kind of like the Sycamore poem, and I love the synchronicity of that. So trees are great teachers, and you are too. Thank you for being a great teacher with us. Yes. And thank you also for Rana and Bruce for being with us, for great music. And to all of our volunteers, we've had some new ones today, Vic, and we haven't seen Mari in a while. So thank you for stepping up and doing that good service. Next week, we have Reverend Sally Robbins with us and Cindy Akana. So join us. Now we have the peace song and prayer for protection. Jamie. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed week.
I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. Someone else is gonna do it all for me. I've got to get up, get out, get it, just get started.
take one step towards my destiny. I'll define my direction with clear-cut intention, declare what will be, and then watch it come to me. 'Cause I've got the power to make all my dreams come true. I've got the power, there's nothing I can't do. I've got the power to be anything I want. I've got the power inside of me. I've got the power inside of me. There are days when I feel that I'm just no good. Days when I don't even want to try. But when I stop, look and listen and surrender, I hear a voice of truth I cannot deny. And it says, you know you can do it. Just get down to it. Have faith in yourself and the will to see it through. 'Cause I've got the power to make all my dreams come true. I've got the power, there ain't nothing I can't do. I've got the power to be anything I want. I've got the power inside of me. Yeah, I've got the power inside of me. In those times when I feel so frightened and it seems like I just can't go on, I've got to look deep inside, 'cause that's where I find the power, the power, the power inside of me. Yeah, I've got the power, deep inside of me. Yeah, I've got the power. I've got it. I've got the power inside. Deep inside of me. I've got it. I've got the power inside. Oh, there's nothing I can't do. 'Cause I got the power, yeah. I've got the power, you got the power, we got the power, yeah. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I've got the power, you got the power, we got the power, yeah. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. Every single day you just got to say, I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. Power! Talking about power, yeah. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. Every single day you just got to say, I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. Power!
Yeah, I think they had to restart something. There's Jean.
I'm on.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did not know that. Sorry about that. So welcome to today's Q&A. One thing you guys should probably know is that I can't see you. You can see me, but I can't see any of you. So somebody there in the sanctuary is probably going to have to facilitate this a little bit. Shelley, I would turn to you if you're there.
I'm here.
Awesome, if you could help me. So I would start out by saying welcome everybody to our Q&A. Glad to have you, and glad to have everybody on the board there. Oh, I got a little teeny tiny picture of the sanctuary. Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate that. Let's start out with a couple of just General information, you heard me in the congregation say we have elected officers, so we have told you about that. The board is going to board training towards the end of the month. One other thing to kind of update you on is our transitional minister. We have 2 people in the wings, 2. You may not know, but Unity Worldwide Ministries had a reorganization in December that impacted the area that helps us assign transitional consultants, which is what they call their interim minister. And it took a little bit to get back on the bandwagon, but we now have reconnected, and we have 2 candidates. One is the first person that we were talking to several months ago, who is currently assigned at Unity of South Sound. Her contract with them is coming up in June, and she believes that they have made a minister assignment, but won't know for sure until later this week. So we can't really commit to her just yet. If that doesn't work out, we have another transitional minister that we're looking at out of Kansas. And so there will be move expenses and whatnot if we go with the second one. The first one, no, she's local to Bremerton, sort of local, and will be here 3 out of 4 Sundays a month. So that's a little bit of information about our transitional minister moving forward. And then the long-term minister, the committee is working on that, and Sharon is probably the better one to give an update on that, Sharon Wolf. Sharon, you want to give us a quick update on the permanent minister transition or permanent minister recruitment? Sorry about that. I didn't quite hear that.
I think Daniel's talking to her. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm not seeing what's going on in the sanctuary. Is somebody talking? If so, the audio isn't working.
So,
Thank you.
time, you know,
Thank you.
Stuff is never going to go just exactly the way you think it will. So I understand that we have an addition to the committee, and that Sarah Agassi is going to be joining that committee as well. And I was initially selected to be the board liaison to that committee, but I've really given that a lot of thought. And having been selected and nominated and accepting of the board secretary position, with the other things that I have going on, I really did not feel like I was really the best person to serve in that capacity on the committee. I really believe, since I am relatively new to Unity within the last couple of years, and though I'm loving it and growing in it, I truly believe that the search committee deserves greater depth of experience and with Unity, and having gone through some of these things before. And so I am very pleased that Paul Roof is stepping into that position as the primary board liaison, and that Joy Christensen is also as a backup. So if there's any situation where Paul cannot be in attendance with the committee meetings and such, that Joy is going to be available as well. So I feel good about that. I feel like the committee deserves the best and depth of knowledge that we have available. So honored as I was, I feel like our community is better served by me being in the secretary position right now. So thank you.
Thanks, Sharon, for that update. So I'd like to open it up to the community. Are there any questions that you have of the board? Is there a microphone there? If somebody would make sure that folks get a microphone. I don't know that we can hear them otherwise. Thank you. Can somebody repeat that in the microphone? I heard, what is the process for? Are you asking the process for the transitional?
Okay. So Vic is asking, when can we get rid of the masks in the sanctuary, and what's our process?
So the last thing that we did is put out a survey, and the survey came back very across the board. There wasn't a strong yes, we need to get rid of them. No, we don't. We are still discussing it. There was also some things in the survey that kind of didn't make sense, and to be honest, we did the survey pretty quick because we were trying to do it before the membership meeting. There will be one more survey come out to the committee where we'll ask for your opinion one more time. And then we are also looking at local, state, and county guidance. We're also listening to the staff and what they feel. And I would say look for something in the next month for further communication on that. And other board members that are present, if you'd like to weigh in on that, please feel free to do so.
No, I think we were looking at perhaps this next survey going out, I believe just like before the April board meeting, I believe was my recall on the timing of that.
If we can get it done by then, yes, we're doing our best. We have a lot of things to shuffle right now, but it will go out sometime towards the end of April.
And one more comment on the search committee. It seems like we need to do some identity work as a congregation before we send out the packet. Is that the consensus of the board?
That is
I'll speak and then let everybody else speak. In a word, yes. The transitional consultant that we hire will help us do some of that work. The transitional consultant, when I'm talking to them right now, we're looking at roughly a 1-year commitment from that transitional consultant. And at that, towards the end of that time, we will then recruit for the longer term minister. And in the meantime, we're doing paperwork. We're trying to put the application together and put a recruitment package together. Tell them how wonderful we are and how we are going to prosper. Others?
Just a couple of things. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
As for the surveys, I'm just curious. It seems as though it would be good to have a survey as people leave the sanctuary for a number of Sundays because we're here. So when you're saying that the majority, you're not getting a consensus, I'm trying to think, well, how many did you get? How many people are coming? I'm asking those questions. So even if we just asked here to say, even if you had that parallel of what you get in the survey versus what you're hearing for the people here, or even designate a particular area that is for masks off, like maybe the atrium area where it's a little more flexible and coming up with a few other things so that it satisfies some people. The other thing, a couple of things, I was wondering what was happening with Easter service. Usually it's a big time when people contribute. I don't know if we're doing anything in particular to support that, and it's only a few weeks away. So I was just wondering about that.
I don't know that we have a great answer for that. I know that our healing ceremony with Dr. Donaldson is next Saturday, and then Monica has been setting up speakers and whatnot for each week. So if Monica's there, she may have a better answer to that than actually the board does.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the speaker and the singers for Easter. Beyond that, I am not familiar with what you've done in the past or what's required. So there's no plans beyond just doing what we're doing for Easter. So if there's something that wants to be done, you all are going to have to tell me or create a group to get it done, because that's not in my history with what's been happening in the past at Unity on Easter. So in the 3 years. So you all tell me what has happened and create a group and get it done. That is the best thing right now. I am happy to help in any way with that.
So it was my understanding that was it perhaps last year, or I've been away for a couple of years, that there was an Easter basket giveaway that was done by the community, and I wonder if anybody has thought about that or brought that up.
That hasn't been since I've been here, and that's been 3.5 years, so I don't know about that.
Last year, we did the drive-through.
Yep.
We did the drive-through for the community, but it was more of a give.
It was an Easter egg drive-through, right? Right, because I think Shelley and I were here. So I'm not familiar with what Linda's talking about, but maybe.
I'm just saying in general, I would anticipate that people usually come for major holidays.
Yeah.
And more in person. So it's I'm not meaning, so there's an opportunity that there might be more giving.
Oh, okay. So
what I'm looking at is that even in the thought process about what we might be able to do? Because in the back of my mind, I'm still kind of concerned about us raising as much money as you mentioned in the past that we would be needing, and opportunities to do that.
I don't have any history to add to that.
I'm sorry, I think
I don't know.
repeat the question. If somebody could repeat the question for Jean.
So I think what Linda is saying is that in the past, the gifts have increased on the Easter holiday. And with her concern about the finances, is that what I'm understanding? Yeah, she's asking, so have we kind of put that into the budget, I'm assuming is the question. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, as an expectation, but if there's some other things that we might be able to do, not in a harsh way. We used to do a big fundraiser.
Is that what's being asked?
Yes, I think that's what's being asked.
Okay. So there isn't. Dorothy would be the best one to answer this, but to the best of my knowledge, there is no additional income planned for that month particularly.
There's no fundraising.
No, not in this month. Not any more than there is in any other month.
Okay, I have a question. So you talked about identity work. It appears to me that, or let me just ask it as a question. Is the leadership model and the job description for the senior minister going to be part of that identity work?
Well, I would just say that from what conversations were started with the previous board, that certainly is part of what will be discussed. I think there's been question around that and belief that we can make some improvements so that we have a more cohesive approach to our operations. So I definitely see that as part of our work for our identity.
I think that's actually going to come up in two different ways. I think the Policy Governance Committee that we have talked about and the board has now sanctioned will also do some of that work, and that will be in conjunction with the transitional minister, or the transitional consultant is what they're called. So I think that's going to come up through the Governance Committee, and it will also come up through the transitional work just in general over the course of the next year, prior to recruitment for a long-term minister.
Yeah, and to that point, it's my understanding that this change at Unity Worldwide, they've redefined that role. We used to look for an interim minister, and now they are being trained to work with us to better define what it is we are looking for as a community, and that's why they've changed that name now to a transitional specialist. So they will be able to work with the committee and our congregants to better define what it is that we're looking for.
Is Dorothy online?
She is not. I
Okay.
actually texted her right before this meeting, and she said that she had lost internet connection, and then she had a conflict, and she couldn't come back. So Dorothy won't be here with us today.
I know there is fundraising built into the budget, and she can speak to that
There
more
is.
than I can because I don't I can't speak to it. But I thought maybe if she was here, she could speak to just the fundraising piece, but she's not there, so.
One of the other things for the community to know is that we're doing financial deep dive training for the board. Dorothy is training everybody at a deeper level, and that training will take place here in about a week and a half, right around the same time as our April board meeting. So you're getting a lot of, we'll have more direct answers for you next time when Dorothy's not in the room, because we'll have a better understanding of what we're actually doing. So openness and transparency, that's what we're all about.
So I think maybe, Linda, one of the things you're talking about, in years gone by, we've had donations for Easter lilies and extra flowers for Easter. I don't know, that is something that I think we could probably pull together.
So I was approached by someone today about bringing in some plants that he wanted to give away, and I'm thinking, well, we could put that on for Easter, and then we could do that. And I was thinking of doing a few things myself. So I mean, if there's an effort where we can, I would just think, just in general, whenever we have an opportunity where there's people coming and they want to celebrate, that they like to support us. And I think we could do a better job of promoting our bookstore and what's in there, because we don't talk about what's available and what might be helpful to us. So I'm just trying to think of simple ways that we can do things like that. But yes, we always have done lilies or, poinsettias, and then people could take them home afterwards. So I mean, there's small things, but it does help.
So I haven't looked for it, but are we still doing the flower donation sign up? Is it in the bookstore?
Oh, it's back here.
It's over on the counter in the back.
It's back in the back.
Yeah, it's in the back.
It's back in the back, back there? Okay.
It's on the table where the sign-ups are.
The Team Unity table?
No, it's the
Right around the corner, yeah.
It's the new Team Unity table where all the brochures are.
Right back there where it says Welcome Center?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And it's also online on the Give page.
So I'm wondering if we could maybe in our bulletin put in something about the Easter Lily fundraiser and put a little sign out here for that.
Right. So somebody just has to get me the details. I can't do that. So I'm happy to advertise anything as long as I have the details. So.
Okay. I don't know if she could hear you.
Okay. So if
No,
anybody gets me the
Monica will need those
details
details.
on, can you hear me? So
Yes.
just if I'm happy to advertise it in the newsletter and announce it on Sunday, I just need the details. So, because I don't know anything how to org. I mean, I've not done it before, so.
Anything that goes in the newsletter, Monica needs before Wednesday, correct, Monica?
Yeah.
Monica, that is the deadline, right? For the newsletter, you need things before Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday at noon.
Okay.
I'm wondering what we're doing to open up communication with the board, considering what we've been through. And I think most of the folks here are reluctant to engage in gossip, but there were real concerns that it was difficult to approach the board. I didn't know whether to approach individual board members, or is there going to be a process for when there's unease in the future for addressing this?
Absolutely. I think one of the things to remember is the board meets once a month. We've had one meeting since the new board was identified. We do have an email that anybody can send to the board that will identify any concerns you have. The best way to do that is to approach that email, because that will go to the entire board, and then it will be put on the agenda for the next meeting. That's the most immediate thing. I'm also looking at increasing communication through the newsletter, and we may do some other things as well, as have some regular community events. We just haven't talked through it all yet. But yes, the intent is to have greater transparency, greater communication, and if there is something official, if there is unease, please send it to that email.
The email
And
That email address
is board@unityofbellevue.org.
thank you.
Would you repeat that?
Board.
Board.
Yeah. @unityofbellevue.org. BOARD. I have a meeting, so I'm going to head out to that.
Sharon, this is for you. I'll put it over here.
Are there any other questions or things to address today?
This is kind of the same thing about the board. I think looking at what the board responsibilities have changed into over time and the use of committees that we used to have that would report to the board and liaisons between those committees that were on the board so that we had kind of an easy way to know what was going on and to have support. That was it might have been a while ago, but it was very effective. And I think, with the board meetings, can we put the date of the board meeting in the newsletter whenever it's coming up, so we're more aware?
Yeah.
And that
yes, absolutely. And there
even with
is
city council, they'll have a few minutes. You could talk for maybe 2-3 minutes and sign up to say something and bring it up so that it's not sending something to an email in the past has been like going into limbo sometimes. So waiting for that response is a little bit hard. But if you know that you have an opportunity to speak about something for a minute or two, just at the beginning of a board meeting, if you have something to say, and then just observe for the rest of the time, that would be really sweet.
In our policy governance documents, it does say exactly that you let the board president know you want to speak to the board and that they will arrange for time on the agenda. You get 3 minutes is, I think, what the policy governance document says. But honestly, if we'll do what we can to get everybody heard. Sending it to the email is the best way to see the whole board. And then, of course, I'm your contact as well. One thing too, I want to let the community know, board meetings are on the third Monday of every month, very regularly, the third Monday of every month. So that's when we meet. If there is anything you want to put before the board, that would be the time that you would be asked to come.
So I think the question also is, if somebody wanted to come to that meeting, do we need to give notice to the board in advance, or can we just show up?
It's supposed to be noticed to the board in advance just because we have an agenda, and many times those agendas are very, very full. So we need to arrange for that. Board meetings are open, though. They're not closed unless there's a specific need to close them. So
but the
community
question now
members
is
are
also
welcome,
brought up
but you would need to plan in advance.
But if you want to come to the meeting, the meetings are open. You always open to observers. Yes.
Correct. It's not a permission thing. It's just to let us know that so that we have adequate time on the agenda and we know who's coming. That's all. You won't be told
okay,
no.
So the question comes down to then, because we're doing Zoom meetings, how does one get to that meeting?
That's why you notify us. We'll give you a Zoom link and all of that.
Just to listen in? How do we do that?
It would be the same thing, Paul.
But okay, but if there's no easy way to come into a Zoom meeting without letting the host know that
Correct.
you want to
Yes.
listen or participate.
Yes, they will need to let us know they're coming into the board meeting. So there isn't just, it isn't that the Zoom meeting is advertised and anybody shows up. You do have to let the board know that you will be coming so that we can put it on, so we know who's there and we can put it on the agenda.
Like I said, that's typical of Zoom, that the board host needs to allow you to come in. So you need
Correct.
to be in touch with the host, and Jean is our host.
Yeah. Did that make sense? Did we cause confusion there, or is everybody clear?
I think, Jean, the question is there an opportunity for anyone in the community to just join the meeting without previous permission?
When they're not going to be on,
When-
when they're not going to be on the
when they're
agenda,
not gonna-
just to hear what's going on.
Just to
So-
be present in the meeting, without speaking, without needing any time on the agenda.
Per our governance documents, the way they're currently set up is that you have to notify in advance. And until we change our governance documents, that's the process that we follow. Now, we can talk about changing those governance documents, but right now, that's the way they're set up.
So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the board to step up and do this. I showed up here, I'm just realizing 41 years ago on Easter Sunday. And Easter Sunday was the first time that I and my family came to Unity of Bellevue. And we've been here ever since, 41 years ago. And I got the opportunity to serve twice, 2 8-year terms plus an appointed term before one of them, and decades ago, and be president of the board when we were in transition. I got to fire a minister, I got to hire a minister, and it's a real chore, and and also a real honor to do that. So I don't know why I get emotional about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic. I appreciate what you've said. Very much so. And it really is an honor. I'm very, very honored to be the president right now, and I will do everything I can for us to work collectively.
So I want to echo Vic's comments about being grateful, not just because it allowed me to transition off the board, but because I'm grateful for everyone stepping up into this service to serve our community this way. I think, we lose a little bit of institutional memory as we go from one board to another, and especially from one board president to another. If we think about when Vic served, if we think about when Stella and Ken served, and Ken and I have had this conversation, it's like, wow, I didn't know all of that went on. And so there's a bit of memory that gets lost. Like when Linda talks about the tradition around Easter, or when you talk about when we used to have committees, right? And you had those liaisons with the board. And certainly during the last 2 years with COVID, we haven't had very active committees, right? And if a board member was on the committee, it was by happenstance, not necessarily that they were a liaison back to the board, although we were usually reporting what was going on, but it wasn't an official capacity. So I think I guess I'm making a statement here, but I also have a request of the community and of the board that we try to bridge that memory. And without, because part of it is, a lot of it's in our governance documents, but a lot of it is in our minds. I mean, when I hear someone like Barry get up and talk about his service on the board and the things that we did in the past, or hear Shelley talk about lay ministry, right? I had that fact somewhere in my mind, but I had not that experience. So I would ask the community and the board, let's try and bridge that gap of our institutional memory. And do it in a way just to say, hey, it's not that we have to maintain the status quo, but how do we learn? Because I know Rita and I, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot from the last 6 years. And how do we capture all of the learning over the years from all of that service and go through this transitional process, leveraging that learning. So thank you, Vic. And I made it a little further before I got emotional.
I would say thank you to Vic and thank you to Susan and Rita. I mean, there is such indeed a wealth of knowledge and experience between board members, former community members, members of our church. There's a lot for us to learn, and I certainly know that sitting here, I will be a much better, much more, the new and improved version 6 months from now than I am sitting here today, and I'll have greater knowledge and wealth of experience from having been in the room with you all. So it is indeed an honor and a privilege, and we all look to live up to that expectation, as well as our own expectations.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to also say thank you to all of you for all that you're doing and all that's ahead of you, and for just being who you are. And something that I just wanted to bring up was the idea of the congregation and us supporting you, because it is a big job and you are holding the space for this center. And I just wondered if there's been anything in the past where prayer chaplains are in communication with the board of how we can support you, or prayer requests, things of that nature. And just wanted to kind of bring up that idea and see if it has been done. And I'm a new prayer chaplain now, just starting again. So I would like to support you and pray for you. And so that's my question, or I don't know if it's a question or a request for.
Well, Cindy, I'll respond to that and say I accept that request. Thank you. Very, very grateful for that. I personally don't know that there's ever been any kind of formal relationship, but I love that idea. And let's work together to create something. Let's work together to create something. I'd also like to take a minute and just share with all of you that when I first came on the board, Ken Patterson approached me in the friendship room and said, "Jean, thank you for stepping up." And I remember at the time thinking, what the heck is he talking about? I'm not stepping up, I'm stepping in. Well, over the course of the last 2 years, I've also learned. And he was right, I was stepping up. So, there's a lot to the board service, but I'm very, very proud and very humbled to be in service to this community. And Cindy, I love that idea of partnering with our prayer chaplains. There's got to be something that we can do formally there. Thank you.
And I think that that's one of the things that we on the search committee would want to have in our new minister, is some person that would promote prayer chaplains, promote developing licensed Unity teachers, working with the format and the foundation that has been set for us. Because there's a lot that I personally feel that it has not been explored very well in the past. So I'm looking forward to seeing that whole process take place. And I said the transitional specialist, I think, is going to be a really vital role for us all to have. That's all I have to say.
Are there any other questions from the community?
Well, I just wanted to thank Vic for bringing it around to something. The reason why I'm asking about the board and hearing about that is to support you, because I am so grateful too of everyone on the board. It's a relief to have so many wonderful people, past and present, and wanting to continue, that it feels very stable. And I just want to hear what is going on so that I can help where I can. And I think that's what a lot of people want to do. So it's not like an inquisition, like, how can we hear what you're doing? It's more like we just want to, hear for ourselves like everybody does, so that we know where we can help as fast as we can. And thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Is there any other questions or comments today? All right, if nobody has any other questions or comments, then we will close this month's Q&A. Last call, are we complete? All right, thank you everyone. We appreciate you coming and hope you'll join us next month at Q&A. And in the meantime, you'll get some communications with us about what the board is doing, and we'll look forward to greater partnership. Thank you, everyone.
I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power.